Welcome in, everybody, on a Friday night edition of the Fuzed Relativity Podcast. A little change up this week. John, how are you doing?
In pain. Gout is no fun.
Oh, yeah, gout's the worst. I've got it. Not currently, but it sucks.
You're down in gout in Beverly Hills?
Kirk, I'm how pumped are you up. Doing?
You know what? I drove to with the windows down to go pick up some Moe's barbecue while listening to Zydeco music. So I had a nice Friday. It's a nice. I'm full of barbecue, and I have 2.5 more pounds for the next 2 days. So I'm good.
It's like you've got a pretty good recommendation of Moe's barbecue. That's twice you've mentioned it on the podcast.
Is it? Well, hey, that's one of my favorite places to go. I think I first went there it was like before a Red Rocks concert. Somebody one of my friends introduced me to that place, and I've gone back a bunch. And yes, I recommend the Hot Links. That's my personal favorite, but never steered me wrong.
Everybody loves.
How are you? How about this? Why? So, do you want to explain why we're doing the show on Friday? Because it's been Saturday ever since, but today's something different.
Well, we had originally planned to do this episode on Saturday, but me and my wife are expecting our second baby, and we got pushed into a early induction, we'll call it that. And so our baby will be born this weekend, hence I pushed the podcast up to Friday. As a programming note, I will be probably a little bit scarce for the next couple of weeks doing just the podcast, no baseball stream.
Even if you're on the podcast, you'll be sleeping. So it'll just be you snoring, but you'll be there in spirit.
Hopefully I won't have any problems. I should theoretically be able to get on the podcast. So
second one's always easiest.
So you made a child. What mold did you use on your 3D printer? Oh, this is this is not a 3D print. Okay, I got it. A person thing.
Yeah, this is a legit baby coming into the world. We're super excited, but that's pretty much why we moved it to Friday. And let's hope.
I fought him on it. I pouted, but you know what? I figured let him have it. Don't let him be a big baby about it. We can. So you're welcome, everybody. No, congratulations.
Yes.
And yeah, you should maybe a picture or something of the young tyke or something. People love adorable babies.
Well, it's Chris's. I'm kidding.
Yeah, had to go there, huh?
The baby will take after Tiffany and not be unpleasant on the eyes. See, I was going to be nice. I was trying to lay off the smell jokes, but he went looks. So that's nice.
Well, we did have a discussion on how the world doesn't need to see more of my face with the goatee. So
yeah.
It was kind of low-hanging fruit, I feel.
Oh, absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah.
So what do we? So the top. So congratulations on the baby and whatnot. And now we're back to space. Some new SpaceX news.
Yes. So I know last week we talked about how NASA had awarded SpaceX the contract for the moon landing. Something came out just I want to say it was like, at least I saw it about 2 hours ago, where because of Blue Origin, and I'm trying to remember the name of the second one, Dynetics, they have put the contract, or suspended the contract until the dispute is resolved between SpaceX.
Blue Origin, which is Amazon's Jeff Bezos' company, he was the one who really started all of that. He thought it was there was a problem with NASA picking the Starship and SpaceX, so he's just disputing that they should have been considered.
Well, in fairness, they were. It's just that their proposals all did not meet the requirements of the contract. And because of, I think it was a cut to the budget, they had to, because I was reading up on it, and they wanted to pick two to keep competition going. So idealistically, it would have been two companies sending people to the moon. The problem was with budget cuts from the government, they had to limit it and say, okay, well, SpaceX is the only one that fits into the current proposal or our current budget and whatnot. So they're the ones that got it. And Blue Origin and Dynetics weren't exactly thrilled with that.
I heard Amazon just gave them a bunch of bad Amazon reviews, and that's how they got their rate. So I think there's some dastardly deeds afoot from Amazon.
Well, I heard that also the Chinese are looking at building their own space station now, which may have put a little more pressure on the whole process as well.
Well, not just looking to, they've already launched the first module. It's part of the reason why a lot of people think Russia's looking to back out of the ISS is they want to start working with the Chinese on their space station, which is something that we currently politically are not able to do.
So the Russians would just sort of piggyback or team up with the Chinese instead of having to start from scratch on their own?
Yeah. And I know I'm probably wrong, but I think the only one... I know they've had the Mir space station, but the ISS, they piggybacked on and added their modules to after it was already in construction. And I could be wrong. My knowledge of the ISS is lacking, to say the least.
Well, the SN-15 I saw had some news. They did the static fire tests on it.
Yes. They static fired it. I want to say it was either Wednesday and possibly Thursday. And then they were going to try and launch it today, but for some reason it canceled. Or scrubbed, I should say. And I wasn't following it close enough to see what the reason was that they scrubbed it today.
I heard they scrubbed it because they wanted to watch Scrub reruns, and I don't think that's very mature of them. The reruns have been around forever. Let it go, guys. It was decent. It was a good show, but come on, go fly the spaceship thing.
Well, I'm kind of interested to see if it does actually launch and do what it's supposed to this time, because I think they're miles ahead of everybody else.
Well, and that's
just doing some research on it and seeing where they're at versus the other companies. If they can get this thing up and going, why not give them the contract? Because they're there already.
Well, and that's the other thing is, although SpaceX is just doing hops and preliminary stuff like that, they're still technically miles ahead of at least Blue Origin, seeing as how they've only done suborbital hops so far, and at least the Dragon's been to space. They still can't even claim that they've gotten in orbit yet with their rockets. Not to say that they won't, but they're still quite a ways off from even getting to orbit as it is.
Now, I was going to throw out there too that that Dragon that they're shooting up there, that's a beautiful piece of equipment. I watched the launch and I watched the maybe the landing footage of the booster. That thing was super cool, man.
Oh yeah.
So would you be willing to get a tattoo? You could get a dragon tattoo.
Is this somebody with a dragon tattoo joke, Kirk?
It could, well, you're not the girl. Oh, it's the girl with the dragon tattoo. Is the movie, right? So
Yes.
you're the soon-to-be father of two with the dragon tattoo. It's not as alluring. It doesn't really pop. I don't think the kids are going to go see it.
I don't think so. But no, I was just I was watching that launch and I thought, well, it's no wonder that SpaceX is so far ahead. The fact that they got this thing up, and this one, I think you said last week, was flown like 7 times or 9 times.
Can actually tell you, because there was a post on, I don't know which orbit or which rocket it was, but there is one. Most of their rockets right now that they're flying have been into or have been launched 7 times. The highest one is 9, or possibly 8.
Since we're talking numbers, why is it SpaceX? Is that a Roman? It's not like space. It's like outer space number 10, and it's not Roman numeral thing, is it?
You're asking the guy that, well, not me, but Musk himself. If you've ever looked at the Tesla model, it's S, Model S, Model 3, Model X, and Model Y.
Those are the only models he makes?
Well, it spells out sexy.
Oh, see, the way you read off the letters was so unsexy. My mind was thinking not in the right area. So could you read them off again and slower?
No.
Model S, Model 3.
No.
No. Look, we're trying to get listeners and ratings. We got to sex sells. No. All right. 3D, back to 3D printers.
Trying to think if there was anything else space related wise. I know there was another launch, but I don't really pay attention to much outside of SpaceX's sphere, despite the fact that I should. Oh, well, the Ingenuity.
Yeah, I was waiting to see if you were done with SpaceX, because the Ingenuity, which, by the way, that animation is still cool, but it flew for the 4th time successfully this morning, and they pushed it a little further this time because they've been increasing the amount of time and distance that it flies as a wrap up to the testing phase of the helicopter. And today's flight was only 16 feet, which is where it's been for the last couple of flights, but it flew down 400 and I think 33 feet and then back 433 feet. And the flight time was 117 seconds, so almost 2 minutes, and 860 some feet that it round trip. So they pushed it about as far as they think they can.
Well,
I
was going to say, a lot of times when they're like, oh, it has a flight time of, well, look at past Mars rovers. Like, what was the one that they put up not too long ago that finally ran out of battery? It was only supposed to operate for like a year or 2, and it went for 5. Their estimates are very conservative, and yeah, they're not.
I bet they installed they installed an arm that smacked the battery when it was going. That's how they got it to last that long. That's a little known. It's just with the remote controls, the same thing.
I think you were talking about the Curiosity.
Yeah. Was it Curiosity? I thought it was the one before Curiosity, though.
Oh, yeah, you're right, because Curiosity was the one that's already up there.
Did it kill a cat?
But yeah, like they're very conservative when it comes to estimates. So yes, they can push it to the limit where they're like, this is guaranteed to work for this long. But I bet you if they tried, they're going to push it to where it can, just outside of its margins, to see what it can actually do.
Well, and on that note, March 3rd was supposed to be the end of the testing period for the Ingenuity. They were given it 30 days That's it. We're not playing with it anymore. We're going to continue with our science projects. Well, today they announced that they've actually extended the testing period of this helicopter for another 30 days. And now that they've had so much success with it, they're actually going to start flying it with the rover and using it as kind of a aerial scout vehicle to kind of work hand in
So
hand.
a drone, if you will, so to speak, like just to get like a camera on it to see what it can find.
Yeah,
pretty much. Yeah, they're just using it as like a, oh, well, let's go look and see what's up ahead so that we know what we're getting into before we try and drive over there.
Aerial reconnaissance.
Little recon.
That would be a cool nickname for it. We're going to call it Little Recon.
Well, and I think that's the ultimate goal with these, because that's what Dragonfly is going to do, right? Or I'm trying to remember. I don't know much on Dragonfly. It's only something that I've seen pop up recently.
Dragonfly is the one they're trying to fly to Titan, and that one's going to be more of it will be reconnaissance, but it's actually going to be, instead of using a lander or, a rover, they're hoping that Dragonfly will be the actual vehicle that they use to explore the planet or the moon. But the basically article I saw said that they're going to now try and show how a rover and a helicopter can work together to navigate other planets. And I'm willing to bet that this is going to be the future of planet exploration going forward.
Oh, absolutely. And now that they're going to use it kind of to piggyback with the rover itself, that's going to be huge. And likely any future rover that's not, manned is going to have a drone with it to fly around and do reconnaissance.
Oh my god! And a helicopter and this is a Pixar movie. This is you know what I mean? Come on, exploring Mars. The helicopter and what is not the drone? What is it? The rover and the helicopter buddy picture on Mars. Come on, it rates itself.
Good cop, bad cop.
Which is funny because on their one of the things I enjoy about NASA's Twitter, well, I kind of like it, but I don't, is they give personalities to the rover or the helicopter. They kind of talk in their own personality as a robot. And so, yeah, I could see a good cop buddy movie coming out of that.
There's the commissioner who's mad at him, and they got one more. He's going to retire, but he's got to come out of retirement to solve it because they stole his robot daughter. Yeah, I mean, all the cliches. Just
well, I completely lost my train of thought there. Now that we've flown a drone on Mars, I think the next big thing would be Venus. And having a something that can fly in that habitable zone on Venus and doing scientific missions there.
Is Venus the next closest one, or just the closest in atmosphere? Like, what's the deal with Venus?
So Venus has, like, the surface of Venus is caustic acid rain, nightmare fuel. Was it the Russians that successfully landed a probe? It didn't last.
It's like rain. It's like raining Monster Energy drink, is what I'm picturing.
Essentially,
it just burns.
Yes,
it's clouds of sulfuric acid. So basically, it's legitimate acid rain, and it's
so sweater weather.
I'm actually looking at it right now, and it says that the thick atmosphere traps the sun's heat, resulting in surface temperatures higher than 880 degrees Fahrenheit, which is
anything we land on the surface is, we'll get a few minutes at most, and it's done.
So that's the next place you want to go to?
There's a Goldilocks zone where the atmospheric pressure is equal to Earth's, and there was a experiment done from Earth that detected potential life on Venus in this habitable zone. So I think exploring that habitable zone with some kind of, blimp or something that can fly at that altitude would be the next thing.
They called it Goldilocks. I like that. Do you ever think if they updated Goldilocks, it would be just like an Airbnb, and it was a big misunderstanding? She's like, "No, I booked this. I'm supposed to. You guys put it up on your. Don't try to eat me, dummies."
I'm just looking, John, and it says that on the ground, the atmosphere on Venus is heavy enough to feel like you were 1 mile deep underwater. So
that's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, that's a.
Well,
so you wouldn't necessarily be able to land something. I mean, you could land it, but having something fly would be really tough on ground level.
On ground level, yes. Like I said, there's that zone. Here, I'm gonna Google it myself. I just said Goldie Duck instead of Goldilocks.
That's okay. You're thinking of the Aflac. You need insurance. You crossed them up. It happens. Don't worry. Goldie Duck. Just Aflac. Just right. There you go. Boom.
While John's looking that up, I was going to pose the question of, so now that we've had this helicopter flying on Mars and doing its thing, I think the only limitation is how long the solar array lasts on the helicopter. Because flying around and creating dust, I'm wondering how long it'll take before the solar array gets,
like solar panels. Is that what I'm sort of like solar panels absorbing and then using that to power like a battery?
Yeah, solar array just is the solar panels that they use to charge with. It's the same thing you're thinking of.
But it's getting dusty from the space dust that it's knocking up with its propellers.
Well, remember the rover that we talked about, that its last words were battery's low and it's getting dark? Well, the reason it was is the solar panels got too dusty and it couldn't charge correctly anymore. So that's one of the big problems they have with some of these vehicles is after a while it just gets too dusty and they don't charge and then the batteries die.
So do we have like a pledge bot? Just a little pledge, make it smell like lemon. Makes everything better.
That's my thought. Something like that.
Well, and I couldn't find anything definitive, but think of Star Wars and Cloud City.
It just was. That's weird.
But that's what a lot of people are suggesting is that, or some of the theories I said that Venus could be more habitable than Mars just because of the zone on Venus where there is atmospheric pressure and everything's very similar to Earth's.
I think there's still going to be a problem making it affordable housing. I mean, you're going to have, people are having apartments and no one can afford to live on Venus. So it's going to be tough.
Well, and I don't think anybody will want to live on Venus. So,
yeah, little hot, little acidic.
Yeah, possibility.
Pool adjacent, which is a problem. It's got to,
So I got some trivia for you, Kirk. And I don't know if you know this or not, Chris. It just made me think of it. But what planet is the closest to every other planet?
What planet is closest to every other planet?
Yeah. If a planet's had buddies, which planet would be every other planet's buddy?
My guess is Jupiter, but that doesn't sound right to me.
So you're a pairing, like Saturn is close. I don't know.
Like at any given point, what planet is closest to all other planets?
Your face.
No.
I'll just say Saturn, and it's a total guess.
Mercury. because of the distance between all the planets, Mercury is always the closest to pretty much every planet because it goes around the sun so fast, and because all the other planets are usually, quite a ways away from each other, it is technically
And
the
it's got abandonment issues. It's a little clinging. Let's just be honest.
I think that's the problem.
But there was a study that, Mercury is usually the closest planet to any other planet at any given time.
That's interesting.
Did not know that. It's learning something new on Fuzed Relativity. Look, you're not reading a book, but you're still learning, people. That's what the power of the podcast. Look at that.
Making people marginally smarter every week.
Right. Well, it's better for their cholesterol than real butter.
Well, we have some more debate this week, so I say let's jump into Kirk's Corner and see what we got going on. What do you think?
Sounds good. Now,
sending me to the corner.
Like I said earlier, because of aforementioned gout, I did nothing this week. I had a lot of plans and then just no motivation to do anything because every time I moved, it hurt.
John, that pizza, you're going to at least have to get rid of it. I mean, it's weeks old by now.
Even I wouldn't eat it. Yeah, even Chris wouldn't eat it if it's, I mean, a week at the most. When it starts getting crunchy, when it's cold, that's a bad sign.
Well, take it away, Kirk. Yeah, it's your corner.
All right, well, hey, welcome to my corner. Yeah, we got sent to the corner. Kirk's Corner. Last week I told some jokes from my first set ever, so it got me thinking about old comedy stuff, and I was digging some old notebooks, so I thought it'd be fun. Here's the thought. I'm going to read you 5 jokes, and you guys have to choose. You have to tell me if when I wrote that joke, was I in my 20s, my 30s, or my 40s? So you have to use a little context clues and try to puzzle it out. I think it'll be fun. We can tell jokes, and then you guys can try to puzzle it out. So you understand? You guys get it? Everybody on board? Go team, go!
Got it.
Yep. I'm making a scoreboard right now.
Hey, we got a scoreboard.
Oh, nice! That was quick. Look at this. It's like real life graphics, just live, boom, on the spot. Okay.
I would hold on,
and
Kirk, real quick.
Yes.
I just want to point out, just to the viewers, without John, this podcast wouldn't exist. Just gonna throw that out there.
Yeah, we would be doing it with by pigeon carrier. Like that's the level of technology that Chris and I know and others. Like smoke signals podcasts is not. Kids don't hashtag that well. So thank you, John, for knowing how to work the magic computer box. Okay, yeah. So I got 5 of them. I got a couple, and I got a mix. A couple of them are kind of bits. A couple of them are one-liners. But okay, so here we go. Let's start with this one. Okay, so was I in my 20s, 30s, or 40s when I wrote this joke? In grade school, a girl started playing footsie with me. She gave me athlete's foot. It burned every time I walked to PE. Boom. Okay, so.
I'm going to say 20s.
All right, we got to vote for the 20s.
I'm going to guess you were 12. No, I will say 30s.
Okay, you know what? Actually, we're going to give that one. That's John. You are correct. I was in my 20s. I started doing stand-up when I was 21. That was an early one. All right, so the next one, how about this one? We got, where in the world did Carmen Sandiego retire? It was always, where was she? I want to know where she retired.
I'm going to go ahead and say that was a 40s joke.
Yeah, I'm going to say 30s.
You say 40s and 30s? You know, actually it's 1-1, buddy. Chris, you're on the board. 1-1. All right. Look at that. So you would think the Carmen Sandiego, I would be, yes, a young child, but that popped into my head. I think that was during the pandemic. I was like, what is Carmen Sandiego's doing the pandemic? I think it sponsored that one, triggered that one. All right, here we go. This is joke number 3. Okay. I had 2 suspicious-looking moles removed from my front yard. They were wearing trench coats and fedoras, talking into their wristwatches. Very suspicious.
I'm going to
Go ahead,
with
John.
40s.
Oh, and I'm going to say 30s because he hasn't thrown a 30s joke out yet.
Wow. Hey, you are correct. I was yes, I was living in a house, so I think moles popped in my head, and in Arizona, skin cancer's everywhere. So yes, 30s, 2-1. All right, we got another one. How about all right, this one's a little juvenile. If you don't support consonants, you're part of the vowel movement. That is if you like English references to poop jokes, this is right up your alley.
John.
Oh,
I'm gonna say it's 20s.
I was going to say that, but I'll go with 30s.
Oh, you guys are both wrong. I was in my 40s when I wrote that immature poop joke. Look at that. Zigging. Well, you thought I was zagging. I should be more mature. You guys are way wrong.
Wow.
Wow. That's all you can say. You're having another child tomorrow, and I wrote that a week ago. Okay.
You are not allowed to babysit.
Oh, come on. Okay. Right. Nah, you're right. Okay. Okay. This is a good one. How about this? I have a cold weather driving tip. Never fart in your car when it's cold. Because here's the thing. You fart in your car, you come back 2 hours, 4 hours, 8 hours later, that fart is still going to be there. That fart is going to be fresh. Basically, in the cold weather, what you've done, you've turned your car into a fart fridge.
All right. I'm going to go 40s.
Oh, and I'm going to say 30s because that's when Kirk probably moved here. So
those are both good guesses, but no, that was 20s. I went to college up in Flagstaff, which that was the first time cold weather. So that's where that one came from. But just trust me, people, don't do it. It's not going to end well.
I'm bored with it.
Yeah, actually, that was all 5. So you guys missed 2. So that was
Chris won.
Woo.
2-1. Wow, I stumped you on a couple. Nice, that's not bad. All right. So there. What do you think about them apples? Through the ages, I haven't. There's a fart joke and a poop joke, and there's 20 years in between them.
Well, the good news is I enjoyed all of them. That was, it's a nice start. And I won, so that's always cool.
He's such a competitive.
I was going to say,
as long as you won.
I was hoping to win because it'd probably been the only thing I win tonight.
Oh yeah,
we got more baseball coming up. By the way, no one mentioned my name, my new name, the running gag, Kirk Gibson.
Oh,
so
Kirk.
Exactly.
Kirk, I apologize that I did not bring it up, and I'm bummed too because it's kind of our thing. Kirk's name this week is Kirk Gibson.
It basically, there's not many other famous Kirks, so I was giving shout out to one of the famous Kirks that I know of. Detroit, Tigers legend. Most notably, hitting the home run off of Dennis Eckersley in the World Series for the Dodgers to kind of pinball them, start the ball rolling, and they won the World Series because off that momentum. So, and Diamondbacks manager for a little bit too. So, but yeah, the famous Kirk Gibson, just a little shout out. And we're doing more baseball after the podcast too, right?
Yep,
we are. I was gonna say, don't give it all away right now, Kirk, because we got a baseball stream to get into. But Kirk Gibson, definitely one of the heroes of his time with all the
pretty gutty. Got
his clutch hits in all the time.
Right, came off the bench, hobbled with a pulled hammy to Dennis Eckersley, who was unhittable. He was that. I don't know. Yeah. Okay. No more baseball talk. Well, you can say it. Yeah, but just.
Well, hopefully, hopefully next week, John, the pizza will be gone, and we will add something to Kirk's corner, maybe a fart fridge. Just
Look, we've talked about a lot of stuff, so yeah, you have a lot to choose from, John. So
Yes.
yeah, no excuses for next week. Come on.
But with that, I think we will exit Kirk's Corner. Oh, there we go. And John, I think we should talk. This automation debate just keeps coming back in our little thread that we have going on. So I'd like to talk some more about it. I've got some interesting, thoughts on it, and I'm sure you do too. And Kirk, as Kirk will throw in some random pieces here and there, but nothing. All right.
No,
right.
yeah, I don't have any interesting thoughts. It's just random. Yes, you're right. No, he's going to make some good valid points like an adult, and this guy's going to dance like a monkey, which makes no sense on a podcast. They can't see him.
So the big thing, and the reason why we keep coming back to it is it seems like we talk about it, and then I see 2 or 3 articles during the week that talk about automation. The big one I saw this week was the let me get it pulled up here real quick, but the gist of it was that they have tractors that are completely autonomous and kill weeds with lasers. So they drive around the fields and laser the weeds out of the fields instead of using pesticides or anything like that. And
yeah, they're using carbon dioxide lasers and just zapping the weeds and killing them without any harm to the environment.
And much faster than any humans could do.
So then no poisons, I'm assuming. If
yes.
They're not okay.
Yeah, and that's the more I was looking into it, sure the upfront cost is a lot, but when they spray the pesticides and do all of that, they have to, once they go through and harvest everything, they have to obviously clean all that stuff off before they can sell it. So that just adds to the cost, and this can do 100,000 weeds per hour that it can go through.
Do they actually have a driver, or is this a remote control, or are they self-driving?
Self-driving. Completely
self-driving,
autonomous.
so nobody's in them. Okay.
It drives down the rows in the crops and uses cameras. I think it said 12 cameras that it uses to drive and figure out what's a weed and what's a plant, and then it zaps the weed. Now, John,
Wow.
the only problem I saw with this is the cost.
And
they wouldn't even.
Well, it depends on how you look at it. Like I said, if you wanted to weed a field, you would either have to use, the expensive equipment to drive back and forth, which one of the benefits of this autonomous weed killing laser machine is it's significantly smaller than a general tractor that you would bring to spray pesticides. Because if you bring a tractor to spray pesticides, you have to carry the pesticides. And to spray a whole field, the tanker would have to be large. So this is much smaller, so it can maneuver a whole lot better. And then on top of that, you don't have to buy the pesticides. You don't have to wash the pesticides off after you've sprayed them. And yes,
so does the laser still, burn it?
The upfront cost is going to be more, but when you look at it, 5-10 years down the line, when it's the cost for it versus everything else, I think in the long run it's going to be cheaper than doing it manually.
Most of the things I saw were saying that the cost could potentially be recuperated in maybe 1 to 2 years, maybe 3 years, depending on the cost of the unit. I'm the old stick in the mud guy who's like, no robots. But from what I can tell, the labor force for people who are willing to pick weeds to make a little bit of money doesn't exist. It's all filtered away. Nobody wants to do it. So in this scenario, I can't even argue with it because, okay, so you got no.
It's not automating jobs people want.
Well,
it's getting rid of people don't no longer want to do.
Because I mean, if you think about it, the stream disconnected there for a second. If you think about it, hold on.
I just talked about you being the tech guy. Come on, John.
Well,
right, and I was already thinking about it. I can't hold on. I'm already the thought train has left the station.
Well, at least we're still recording. Let me do something real quick. You guys are going to lose the little live view. Oh,
yeah. Well, it says cricket noises, but you never hear the cricket noises. They have actual. How much would it cost?
Well,
there we go.
But the robots in this scenario, I'm actually okay with, which is, makes me sad because I, don't want to see robots. But people
you want to be anti-robot so bad, but this one won you over.
Yeah, it has to, because people don't want to do the job. No pesticides is better for everybody, and we're trying to kill weeds. I mean, it's a pretty simple process.
And does the laser just burn them? Is what I'm picturing?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. But I was gonna say, before we got the stream kind of went weird there. The problem is, if the farmers want to keep a profit, just like with anything, you can't charge or pay people a ton to come in and do work that they wouldn't want to do. Like, if you were offered a job, $50 an hour to go pick weeds in a field, would you do it?
$50 an hour?
Sure. It's hypothetical.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to turn down $50 an hour.
You would last 6 hours in the sun, and then you would say, "Screw this, my back is killing me," and tap out.
It'd be 6 times 50, $300. I could, it's doable.
But I mean, that's kind of where it's leaning to. These jobs that are physically demanding, they have to be compensated well to do them. And sometimes that just isn't the case.
Right, because the thinking is, well, it's just blue collar work, so doesn't take brain power. So why are we going to pay these guys? I think there's a bias towards physical jobs like that, and I think, but certain ones, like, you have to pay people that much because they're not going to do it. They're not going to damage and torture their bodies for less than, I don't know, $25 an hour or something like that.
Yeah.
Well, this is the one scenario where I was like, okay, I can jump on board with a robot weed zapper. All right, that's okay. Especially it's more efficient. Nobody wants the job. And the limitation right now is just the price, because from what I can tell, most farmers wouldn't be able to afford something like that. And the story that you sent me said that they had already sold out of their 2021 models, and I don't even know how many that means, but production might be an issue as well.
Well, and I'm sure that's part of it is, the demand is going to be high, and it's going to be hard to be met. But the more demand there is, the more there's going to be to produce them. And just like with everything automation, sure, the upfront cost is going to be massive, but what happens when you have, like, I'm assuming this is only one company right now that's making these, but what happens when there's, 20 companies making them?
Right, the cost comes down, and it pays for itself, then it gets reasonable, and then it becomes just like every other piece of technology. And but my big fear, like, on Halloween during a vicious rainstorm, there's going to be a thunderstorm that's going to make these robot tractor laser shooters go bad. You know what I mean? There's no way these robots aren't going to go on a killing spree if they've got their lasers. That's a fact.
And that's a valid concern to be afraid of the, robots with CO2 powered lasers. I would agree.
As robots go, you know what I mean? Like the scan machine at the grocery store, I'm not that. I could take them in a fight. But yeah, I mean, lasers, that kicks it up a notch.
The interesting one that I think I sent over to you guys, which bummed me out because I can't believe I'm going to bring this up. Domino's is bringing back the Noid commercials because apparently pizza robot delivery is actually going to be a thing where they're trying to deliver pizza with robots. That's the one scenario again where I'm against it, but it's totally happening.
And that's what we were talking about, is a lot of people are trying to turn a blind eye and saying, oh, well, this isn't coming. But it's Domino's that's running the ads, right? Because they're the ones that have the autonomous pizza deliverer, correct?
Correct.
Yes. Yeah. And they have the Noid.
So, and that's just it. That's one specific market. People are going to say, oh, it's just Domino's that's doing it. It's okay. I just have to walk out to pick up my pizza. That's no big deal. But what happens when it's, that translates to Pizza Hut, or it translates to, every fast food company, that the fact of autonomous robots delivering your food would cut out all delivery drivers, like DoorDash, Uber Eats.
There's no way a college kid is going to get a robot delivery guy high. So that's, I mean, that's a problem, right? How else are they going to tip them?
Well, there's a lot of semantics that go into this, because I have lots of questions, like probably most people do, as far as if you order your pizza from your local Domino's, just the distance from my house to my Domino's isn't that far, but I don't see a robot navigating that, right off the bat, based off of our robot technology now. But I feel bad.
Our autonomous driving technology right now is excellent. Google, all the companies that have autonomous cars have pretty much showcased almost flawless execution. I want to say the autonomous car Google was driving had something like 1 million miles on the road. And the accidents it had were all people running into it.
Well, and that's kind of my point, is like, I'm worried about it only because, okay, how many pizza delivery drivers do you think there are in the United States?
Hundreds of thousands.
And just for Domino's, you could probably say hundreds of thousands. So what are you going to do with all those people that are just freshly out of a job? Are they going to have to go pick weeds? Oh, wait, they can't.
Well, and that's the whole crutch of the whole crutch of this debate is it's coming faster than a lot of people are willing to realize. And that's why it's definitely something that needs to be brought into the public's attention so that we can be proactive about it. Because unless there's some way to curb the autonomous nature that's coming, which, let's be realistic, in today's climate, it's not likely, because I would bet that Domino's ordering 100,000 pizza delivery cars that can do their job without, tip or, being paid is going to be a lot more incentivizing to them than paying drivers. Because if it wasn't, they wouldn't be looking into it.
I heard that if all pizza delivery drivers aren't automated in the next 30 minutes or less, it's free. So, come on, you guys. Remember 30 minutes or less, it was free until they ran people over and they stopped doing that?
But, I mean, that's kind of why this whole debate started, or why we're starting to do debates, is that autonomy is coming, and it's coming a lot faster than people would like to think it's coming.
Which is, and from my perspective, because I like to try and argue against it because I don't necessarily think we should replace people with robots, but I'm okay with the robot on Mars and a little helicopter robot. So as long as they do it on other planets, I think I'm all right with it.
That's good. Actually, since episode 4, we actually automated John. He's been a robot since then. So you didn't even notice, did you, people? Didn't even notice.
Not the first time I've been called a robot.
It was a risky operation, but
hey, you know what? It was money well spent. $20. Boom, he's a robot. Problem solved. He's 12% more efficient.
12.
Oh, I'm kidding.
12%. Damn. But hopefully everybody can see my side as far as trying to parse that out.
I mean, that's the crux of the situation is you're not in the minority when it comes to this debate. Most people don't want this because, like you said, it's going to put a lot of people out of work. I mean, like I said, when we first talked about this, the truckers, or basically delivery people getting automated is going to put close to 2 million people out of jobs. And that's why I wanted to debate, was to show that this is coming a lot faster than a lot of people are thinking it's coming.
Well, and it just dawned on me, and I'm bummed that I almost forgot about it, but I was going to talk about the 3D printed homes. We spoke about those in, I think, episode 2. It was weeks back. But I've been doing a little more digging into the 3D printed homes, and there's a lot more companies now coming out with these. And it moved really, really fast. But they have some now, like in Italy, where they are creating like wasp-style wasp nest homes. But they're using the clay from the area, from the ground, in assistance with making these homes. I guess we don't need to get too far into the homes themselves, but I started thinking about it from a robotics perspective, and I said, how many people do you think it would take to build a small home in anywhere? Contractors, subcontractors, workers, all those people. Well, now you've got a robot printing this 3D home in, they said, some of these companies can do it in 200 hours, which is, a week. So there goes even more jobs, especially since construction costs are so high. You can buy this printer, do all the work, and not have to pay anybody. Not
necessarily true, because sure, you're basically you're building the skeleton of the house. You're not wiring it, you're not plumbing it, you're not, insulating. Well, it's kind of insulated, but you're not doing the fancy trim and all that. Robots aren't there yet. But yes, you're right. A lot of the standard nailing boards to a frame type jobs, this could affect.
Right, but I'm just saying, like, the ones that I was speaking towards in Italy with the wasp style, they're only doing small homes as like a way to fix the housing crisis so that people can they're not huge homes, but they're not teeny tiny homes. And they print the whole house from front to back with this 3D printer. So you literally only need people to monitor the printer.
And it seems like the tiny homes are the way that a lot of people are going, just because there's, if you're living in a big bustling city, there's no room. And also the cost is to me, I think a tiny home keeps you from buying crap you don't need. So it's good for pack rats and stuff, because you're like, look, you literally have no room for any more stuff. So don't even think about it.
Well, and in fairness, nobody will have jobs, so they can't buy anything anyway. So
that's what I think. The corporations just eventually, like if Jeff Bezos and Amazon and Google, like if you guys have all of the money, nobody can buy the crap you make anymore. So who are you selling to? At a certain point, there's a tipping point of profit where it's like, we got no money.
And at that point, they won't care because they have all the money.
It's just what's their end game? You know what I mean? Like, look, we have it all. It just seems like if it was any other thing but money, these guys would be forced into a 12-step rehab because it's like it's addiction. It's unhealthy. What are you going to do with $87 billion? Share.
Well, that's the logical step from, most people, but when you have that much money, it's not about that anymore.
It's an ego thing. Rich guys, who has more numbers in their bank account? It's not what I can do with it. It's just an ego trip, and it's sick. It's gross.
Yes.
Well, regardless on that aspect of how you think about it, I don't know where I stand one way or the other, but the
Chris is just sad because he'll never have $1 million.
Well, I don't have the brain power for that, and I'd probably spend it all on cheeseburgers. So waste of money. No, it's not. I love them.
It's a lot of cheeseburgers.
But just looking at the impact of it, it just seems like it could end up poorly for us. That's all I'm saying.
Oh no, it will. Hence why bringing it up, talking about it, gets it into the public eye.
Yeah, heads up, people.
Before
robots are going to put you out of business.
Yeah. I mean, there's absolutely going to be jobs that withstand it, but are the jobs that withstand
like stripper? Probably robot strippers are coming. I mean, but that's not coming soon.
Probably
it kind of reminds me of Idiocracy, the movie, if you've ever seen it.
Oh, great movie. Mike Judge, Beavis and Butthead, Office Space. Brilliant.
Yes. I was going to say they will sorry, going back to your stripper, there could always be strippers for the robots, Kirk.
So wait, stripper, because human beings aren't going to have any jobs anymore. The robots are going to have the jobs, so they're going to have the money, so the robots are going to go to the strip clubs and get land. Is that where you're going?
I take it you've never seen Futurama.
Nah, I'm more of a Simpsons cat. I've dabbled, but
yeah, no, that was a running theme in Futurama. The robots would go to strip clubs, where other robots were, the strippers.
Oh, so robot strippers too.
Yes.
Well, that was. I mean, is it time to get off topic yet? Because it got a little depressing. We saved it with strippers, but
always saved by strippers. But yeah,
robot strippers saved the day once again.
I think we should go a little off topic, and I think John's got something lined up straight off the bat. So, John, what you got?
I was just going to talk about Aron Rodgers leaving the Packers. He tried to go to the Broncos.
Okay, so I'm a sports guy, and I got fooled into that for like a good solid half hour last night. And from what I can tell, all the reports were wrong, and he wasn't necessarily even close to being traded. Now, yes, he does want to leave, but he wasn't close to getting traded. Will he get traded later on? Probably. But he wasn't almost a Bronco.
No. I know that. Well, the thing that came out today was he's threatening to retire now.
Well, he's got to be almost 40, isn't he?
He's 37.
Okay, a little younger than I thought, but yeah, I mean, he's getting up there. I think Tom Brady's throwing off the curve because he's in his, he's like 57 and he's still going, so it kind of ruins it for the other guys to say, like, hey, I'm old. Like, hey, Brady's still doing it.
Well, I think what Rodgers is doing is he's essentially going to get traded, and my sources that I look in.
So the internet.
Kind of, but
your sources. You're talking to a guy like in a parking garage with a trench coat, like my suspicious moles.
I'm not going to say confirm or deny, but no, June 2nd is if he gets traded after June 2nd, the Packers don't have any cap hit. And he's going to push their hand. The Broncos here in Denver actually are one of his landing spots that he wouldn't mind going to. And they're the
Raiders and
the Broncos would love that. Another aged old quarterback to try to save the. Come on.
At least Rodgers is good.
That's a good storyline. Hey, Peyton Manning came in, and this guy can do it too. I mean, I could see the fans getting behind that.
Yep. And so, in 5 weeks or so, we might still see Aaron Rodgers as a Bronco, but I was really kind of bummed because I got sucked into it last night. I thought for sure we were going to see a draft day trade of Aaron Rodgers to the Broncos, and it was thrilling there for a few minutes.
Well, and the problem is the Packers don't want to let Rodgers go because in reality he's the best chance of them getting a Super Bowl.
Yeah, but it's all pretty much done because he'll just threaten to retire, and if he retires, then they get nothing. So they'll at least try and trade for some future picks or some players or something.
Yeah. Well, it's sad to see him go because, I mean, I've been a Packers fan.
Well, Kirk, what do you got for off topic? Anything off topic this week?
Oh, was that me?
Yeah, I know. He just cut me off.
Okay. Well, can you pull it up? Because mine is actually a feel good story. It's there's a video of a police officer in Colorado who she found a skunk that had a milkshake cup on its head. So it was clearly going for the sugar and it got it stuck. So it's sweet because she talks to it like it's a dog. It literally, she's like, "Oh, hold on there, buddy." It's really just, police has been getting a lot of bad rap. So because like literally she got the cup off of his head. She didn't get sprayed, which was heroic. And the skunk didn't sexually assault any cats that accidentally got a white strip. So it was just a win. So I guess we don't have the video.
Well,
if you can find it, just Google skunk milkshake. But seriously, my first thought was, Chris, have you ever worked with skunks? Because I imagined you would be perfect because you'd almost be immune, with the odor. Because I'm willing to bet, and John, you've known your brother for a bit. I'm willing to bet $25 that Chris, you've never been sprayed by a skunk because game respects game. Is what I'm saying. The skunk would be like, look, it would be like a force field, and they would just cancel each other out.
Kirk, I'm going to tell you a very true story. I have actually been sprayed by a skunk. But,
what?
Yes. When I was a kid, I did get sprayed by a skunk.
I was trying to remember who it happened to.
I
don't know that I had developed my full body odor yet, so that might be.
Did you pass puberty? Were you? I was just about to say, were you wearing deodorant? But that's a stupid question. Were you like 12 or 13 ? Like that's come on.
Were you way younger than that?
Okay, yeah. Then you were. Yeah, then you hadn't developed your funk yet, so that doesn't count. And the skunk was like, hey, just like I said, if the skunk would have smelled you now, like I said, he would have said like, oh man, that guy's got some nasty funk. I'm staying away from that guy.
Well, I appreciate the story of the cop helping the skunk better than what you just rib kicked me with, but
But I made it to the whole end of the show. That's a good, you know what I mean? Like they're getting, what? Maybe it might actually loop itself. So I think I might start off with a vicious rib kick at the beginning. Whenever you come back after having your baby, you'll be tired and your defenses will be down, and you will smell bad because you haven't showered. So it'll be true. There's nothing you've got no leg to stand on.
That is very true.
I like your witness, counsel. Come on, seriously. That was guilty as charged. Boom. Okay, well that was off topic. So we got one more. Chris, you got something?
Well, unfortunately, I don't. I got a little distracted today, and I didn't get my off-topic pulled in. I apologize.
That's all right.
It was because you're having a baby. That's what it is, right? Look, it's a good excuse to use.
Yep, I didn't have lined up as I normally do, but yes, off topic, I am having a baby this weekend, and all things considered, we'll probably have some pictures next week.
Well, I meant just the pride, because, you made me that, that fake dog turd. So I imagine, when you have a kid, it's got to be like you made 100 fake dog turds.
at least 100.
I didn't know how to oversell. Maybe a bazillion. That seems a little silly, but even better. So yeah.
Not hopefully, next week we will have some pictures for the off topic of a bouncing baby boy, and I'll make up for it. I missed a week. What can I say?
That's okay. And a picture of a baby that'll bounce it out. So I say, when does the baby drop? But he's not. I hope the doctors don't drop him.
God, I hope not.
If he's flagging, he's slippery. Okay, so is it time for baseball now, or are we moving?
I do think we will end the show there. Everybody, thanks for watching. It is Friday night. We had a little different thing going on. Hopefully everybody enjoyed it. Kirk, always nice to have you along, and we'll be on baseball here in a few minutes for the baseball stream. John, look forward to kicking your ass again.
That's likely going to happen.
And I did enjoy it. So I know I was on the show, but I enjoyed it. So read the book, tell your friends.
So for John, Chris, and Kirk, we'd like to wish everybody a good evening. Hopefully you follow us to the baseball stream. We'll be up in a few minutes.
Yep.
Doodles.